Thank you for staying with us, and that was, of course, World Newspaper Review. Things are happening around the world. It's now time for us to bring you, of course, an interview, the first one from Abuja. Earlier on in the introductory part of the program, we told you that DAARSAT is back. Now, DAARSAT is Dar Communications Pay TV service and the digital terrestrial platform. The service was launched in October 2008 with over 50 channels of undiluted programming with crisp signals using high-definition technology to broadcast.
Now, DAARSAT's unique selling point then was the indigenous language channels, an innovative effort which set it apart from others and ensured that no section of the viewing public was marginalized, so to speak. That pioneering idea is today being adopted by most paid television stations today.
Now, despite the fanfare and the innovation that accompanied DAARSAT, the digital direct-to-home pay TV temporarily went off air, owing to some technicalities, which we shall get clarification on very shortly. Well, the setback notwithstanding, DAARSAT is back, better packaged and set to inform, educate and entertain you like never before.
Well, with us this morning to tell us more about the rejuvenated DAARSAT is the Managing Director, Don Pedro Obaseki. Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki, nice to have you join us in the studio this morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Adora.
Good morning, Dr. Don Pedro. Well, in 2008, the DAARSAT fever caught virtually everyone. The viewers were agog with it. Then all of a sudden, temporarily they went off air and everybody was speculating as to what really went wrong. People came up with their own reasons. Well, today, a lot of people are still in the dark. What really happened? What happened?
DAARSAT was a sacrifice. It was an ultimate sacrifice paid by the management and board of Dar Communications PLC for serving Nigeria. You know, without meaning to ruffle feathers, you know, I'll just give a little brief. In 2008, 2009, the chairman of Dar Communications went on a binge to introduce high-definition television to Nigeria. And we all still remember the repetitive recurrence of the then FIFA Vice President, Jack Warner, say, I saw. That communications at that time placed Nigeria back on the map in international sports programming by becoming the home broadcasters of the World Under-17 World Cup, which was held in Nigeria, and to the glory of everybody. But that communications was not paid. And as a result of that, it was a humongous, it ran into billions of naira. The DAARSAT service, which was actually the satellite provider for the World Cup, had to be cut off. So all the vendors cut us off, and that communications had to battle to come back to its feet. So it was a unique sacrifice made by the company on behalf of the Nigerian public to make sure that Nigeria did not, as it were, disgrace itself, and we became the first native HD broadcasters from Africa. But that was the price we paid, and we went down. But one thing that is clear is that DAARSAT is back, bigger, better, and not stopping there. DAARSAT will also be making history today. As we relaunch DAARSAT today, it becomes the first pay TV service in Nigeria since this country was created, since our amalgamation, to have gone down and come back.
Okay.
And I think that shows the doggedness not only of the management and the board, but of High Chief Raymond Aleo Dokbesi himself.
Okay. Now, Dr. Pedro, if people at home would, want to know exactly if all the initial hurdles and challenges that DAARSAT faced has been, dealt with and sorted out, because I know that having worked in AIT for so long, a lot of people met me outside the station. What is wrong? When are you coming back? We cannot see DAARSAT. What has happened? What are the problems and all of this? What are you telling them this morning? Are you telling them to dust up their decoders and be ready to receive DAARSAT signals again without any fear that any shutdown or any operational problem might rise again?
Without mincing words, we have to take the emotional graph into consideration. We apologize, for ever going down. But I must tell you that outside of the financial and human resource that has been reinvested in DAARSAT, the biggest will be the emotional investment. You see, DAARSAT won't go down, not again. All the visceral necessities to make this service an endearing one has all been put in place, and not just put in place in terms of the equipment, but put in place in terms of the content delivery, the mode of delivery. You're going to have little or no rain fade, you know, rain won't start and the thing goes out. That is not going to happen again. And not stopping there, we've also invested in, I was in MD then, so we've also invested massively in the human resource. We've brought in on board the best hands in the I won't say in the country, in the business, in or outside of this country. We are rejuvenated. Our equipment, our subscriber management, our conditional access module, they are top class, top drawer, best global practice. So we are ready. And you must understand that in the first coming of DAARSAT, there was a huge capital investment in the project. Now there is a much greater investment, which includes upgrade of all our systems, upgrade of the platform, guaranteed uplink and satellite uplink and downlink, guaranteed. And then before, when we started, we had about 124 channel capacity.
Okay.
Now the chairman has increased that now to a 250 channel capacity. We are going to create capacities for Nigerians to not just see themselves being broadcasted, but even to allow Nigerians broadcast themselves. And you mentioned quickly, you mentioned the indigenous channels, which was the indigenous broadcasting on direct-to-home pay TV was pioneered by DAARSAT Communications PLC.
And some other people have taken that up and have taken it to the next level. How do you intend to match with that?
You don't beat the drummer when he is a master drummer. You get my point? So when others copy the beat, he changes the beat. So what we just did was change the beat. So they are also, you know, and when people copy you, they will always be playing catch up.
Okay, now.
So we are back.
Okay.
And those channels are back and better.
Okay.
And we are now better addressing the need, whether niche or generic, of the Nigerian public.
The test transmission started in December,
right.
1st 2012. Now, today is the 6th of March, and Interactive Dealers Conference holds today, as I suppose.
Yes.
What is that all about, and what exactly, will you be focusing on in that conference? And what exactly is the Interactive Dealers Conference?
What we felt was necessary and imperative was to make sure that those who will be our frontline soldiers in getting the setup, like the decoders and the service to the average Nigerian, is not just in tune with us, but on board with us as co-pilots of this project. So today we are commencing a preliminary commercial launch of the service.
Okay.
So we have an interactive session with distributors and dealers, and those who will be interacting with the public, so that they go along with us, they are in tandem with us of our plans, both in the short, medium, and the long term, so that they too are convinced about the veracity of the DAARSAT project, of the new DAARSAT project. And today we are going to get exact feedback from those in locations as remote as Billy, Kebbi, as far down south as Calabar, Lagos, as far up north as Yola and Maiduguri, so that we can have in one pot, in one room, tell ourselves the exact way that we will improve quality service delivery for the average Nigerian viewer who is going to be our subscriber. Now these things are necessary. In fact, they are tangential for making that sort of success. I want to also use that forum and other fora that we are putting up, because we're going to move from state to state in a near guerrilla form of relaunching the product, so that we tell the story to our dealers who are very important, and by inference to the average Nigerian.
But that trust is earned, and when it's earned and is lost, of course, earning it back is a wavering point, and it's a Herculean task to actually convince the person. Now, the average Nigerian out there, you tell them DAARSAT is back, they'll tell you, okay, let's wait and see. because they do not know what will happen in the next 3 to 6 months. What are the ways you are going to use to win back the viewership for DAARSAT and win back their trust?
Elasticity. Share elasticity. Elasticity in approach. The company is a company that is at the very center of the Nigerian mindset. We are Nigerian. We are a Nigerian company. And we are a Nigerian company that is hell-bent on taking Nigeria to the global stage as players. So what we know, trust is earned. Some level of trust was lost. And it's almost usually the recovery curve is going to be sharper and harder. But we are ready for the steep climb. And we think that as we start now, to earn the trust, we must take the step. All the background and preparations have been done. I keep saying the emotional graph is very sharp.
Okay.
You know, and we are going to keep hammering at it. And of course, they will begin to see that not only are we providing information, entertainment, we are telling the Nigerian story the way the Nigerian want it best told. We want to be the flagship of the Nigerian mindset. And that is a task, to use the cliche, that must be done.
Okay, Dr. Pedro, in the absence of DAARSAT, competition gained momentum. Right. One of the things competition offers is low price for its decoder and subscription.
Right.
How affordable is DAARSAT now that it's been relaunched?
Affordability is key. In simple economics, some of the basic ingredients for location and localization of industry is nearness to source of your raw material. And so what we've done is partner those who are content providers, particularly in the local scene, of which I am one. I used to be a national president of the Film Corporation of Nigeria. And I know, to all intents and purposes, our people are solidly, totally behind this project, and they see it as a way of making the Nigerian entertainment content provider come to the fore. We've created a platform that would ensure easy uptake, not only by the subscriber, but also by the content provider. We've redesigned and retweaked and re-engineered our local news, our local channels, from just being entertainment channels, to be channels that will be talking in the language and bringing to the people who understand, maybe like Yoruba, for example, who understand Yoruba. So we've gone back to the old arcade broadcasting of the Yoruba mindset. So we are going to have a 24-hour Yoruba channel, a 24-hour Hausa language channel, not a 24-hour Hausa entertainment movie channel. So we're going to provide a veritable television alternative to BBC Hausa, for example. That is the idea. And we have looked at it. What is it that we want the average Hausaman to see in Gamzaki, for example? A vehicle that best tells his story, tells his news. We have looked at AIT as a model that works, and we have decided to have AIT, KAAKAKI in the morning, translated exactly, almost close to in toto, in Hausa. So I think Senami and Adora, you are going to play catch up, because when people listen to you in KAAKAKI, which is actually an Hausa word, in the morning, those who hardly speak English of Hausa extraction will just be glued on Gamzaki, where they will also be going through the motions, the interviews, the state of the nation, newspaper reviews, Iroyin Agbaye. That is exactly what we've done. So we've upped the ante, and I can say that today because we've launched today. So if tomorrow competition decides to copy, they're going to play catch up. But you see, the truth of the matter is we are uniquely positioned, not only as pay TV providers, but also as part of a larger broadcast family that covers both terrestrial radio and television broadcast.
All right. Now, of course, the most important thing for DAARSAT is that it should relaunch itself as a diffusion platform for the DAAR educational service, which is, of course, one of the prime things that you're going to uniquely offer to the viewer. What is this about? Because a lot of people are in limbo about it.
A man left Nigeria as the son of a modest Midwest North family, and became the first Nigerian to get a first-class degree and a PhD in marine engineering. So, and that education in that niche area shot Aleo Raymond Dokpesi to national limelight. So he doesn't just understand education. He also understands what education could do, not just for the individual, but for the entire nation. So he has invested in creating alternate education platform. It's not just ordinary e-learning. It's not just educational TV. It's a little more than that. So what DAARSAT is going to do, and is going to come out in phases in the next couple of months, is to introduce the DAAR educational service, which is DAAR has gone to the extent of creating a strategic business unit for that, to be able to deliver that. And we are creating 26 channels, a channel each for each level of education in Nigeria, right from primary 1 to SS3. So it's going to be, there's going to be a channel for primary 1, a full channel for primary 2, full channel, broadcasting close to 20,000 hours of raw educational programming per annum. That is humongous. And so, I mean, those who've been on television have been seeing High Chief Dokpesi junket from one state capital to the other, and the optic has been, and the reception has been humongous. And I think before our competition we start, he's a visionary, so ours is to interpret the vision. And so DAARSAT is going to be every face in every place. And with that educational service, we're going to knock on every door on every floor.
Okay.
The state governments are on board. The Federal Ministry of Education signed an MOU with DAAR Communications, and it was a game changer, not only for pay TV, but for the education of the average Nigerian child.
Dr. Pedro, two things now. The average Nigerian that had the DAARSAT decoder at home, some have tuned their decoders to get other free-to-air channels from some other African countries, and that's what they use their DAARSAT decoders for. Others just leave their decoders lying there. First, is the old decoder still going to be viable and useful to them, or will they have to get a new one? Secondly, how do you handle those who have pre-tuned, or tuned away from DAARSAT signals to other free-to-air signals?
Our first go-to-market strategy is to actually win back. First, the man who has left his decoder dormant. Those decoders are still very functional. They are the most robust, high-definition decoders this country has ever imported. Maybe a little too expensive. The second one is the man who has tuned to other free-to-air channels. We are uniquely, we have a full design to get to. That's why you said we are going to every door on every floor. We're going to knock on doors. And the value of the bouquet that we are offering is going to make them say, oh, okay. You are a mother, for example. You have a child, or you have children, maybe spread from primary to secondary school. And here comes DAAR Communications and tells you, look, kids, last year 87% of Nigerian children failed, and you are paying 15,000 a month, for example, just to get a few hours pumped into your child. Now here is the decoder, here is the TV service. Tell your kid, watch Kisco, watch Nickelodeon, watch the DAAR Kiddies channel, but please dedicate 1 hour every day to making sure your child just does that math re-education, that geography teaching, that social science, that civic education. That is unique, and that is different. And so when those things are, when the man who is making, or the woman who is making the purchase decision is faced with the amount of content we are offering, maybe they will give me a call and say, Pedro, how do we retweak and return, even before I get to him or her.
All right. Well, I need you to just again answer how affordable
No.
decoder is.
No.
What's the cost?
Yeah, it is less, almost less than half the cost it was before.
Okay.
I'm not stopping there. I had to stop my chairman yesterday. He was virtually telling me to give it out for free. Unfortunately, if I do that, I may go bankrupt. But it is so affordable that it is as simple or as easy as giving a HD decoder out for free. And in terms of subscription, for those who were on DAARSAT ab initio before the cessation of service, we are giving them 3 months free service from day one. 3 months free. And for every other person that is going to join us, it's going to be pay 1, get 3 free. No, pay 1, get 2 free. So if you pay for a month, you're going to have service for 3 months. For those who've had their decoders, also remember that the first time DAARSAT was on, we never collected subscription. It was more or less free. So in terms of money back to the company for the year plus that DAARSAT ran, we did not collect subscription. So the decoders are still with them and they are still functional. So in pure economic terms, the huge loss is actually more emotional than financial, because we did not collect subscription as at the time.
All right, well said, and everything you said is quite insightful. But now let's take it back to morals, and then teachers. Of course, a lot of teachers have no basic training to tutor students, and we find that in a lot of schools. Are there any availability for teacher channels? Because then you will find out that most of the teachers will benefit from that as well. And then secondly, there is a huge devaluation of moral in Nigerian schools and children today. And I worry, because then a lot of people will say that the television, or, well, like you said, is more than e-learning, will take away the one-to-one energy, transfer of moral learning and tutorship from the student and the teacher, or likewise from the parent to the student. So how do you hope to break this challenge?
Okay, there are 2 major questions there. Teaching the teacher. DES channel 901, that is the DAARSAT channel, which is DES 901, is the teachers development channel. The DA is not just doing this on its own. Okay. The biggest teachers and teaching organization in Nigeria, in the world, is maybe Teachers Media International. So DA not only signed an agreement with them, we went into a joint venture with them and created DA TMI. Now the DA Educational Service will be put together by the best persons using the best practice in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Education, the National Education Research and Development Commission, the Universal Basic Education. Is a huge turnkey project. And the first thing is to teach the teacher. So the first channel there is actually dedicated to teaching the teacher. Then we also took into consideration that formal education is great, but there is also need for us to have education across board. So we are going to have 2 Almanjeri channels to be able to take the Islamic education to the street urchin and teach them in a more formalized environment. We've also, in fact, by the time the managing director of DA Educational Service, Raymond Opesi Jr., gets the opportunity to speak with you, you will be able to have a full description of the vortex. Then we're looking at, you also mentioned morals. Not just morals, Adora. You're going to look at morals, knowledge of our people, our country, our ethics, our culture, our way of life. So there are channels dedicated to civic education. There are channels dedicated to engaging the average Nigerian on the Nigerianness of the Nigerian. So that right from childhood, we are already teaching them to believe in the ultimate Nigerian dream. What teach a child? What is that? Where to go? And when you go, you will never depart from it. Maybe it's the lack of that is making some of us so far away from the Nigerian dream, as it were.
All right, Dr. Pedro, thank you so very much. I know that there's so much to talk about as far as DAARSAT is concerned. So many people out there want answers to a lot of the questions, and I hope that Dr. Pedro Obaseki has been able to answer all of your questions. And not to worry, if not, I bet to bring him. We bet to bring him back sometime soon so he can answer some more of your questions. We've got to go now, but Lagos is standing by. We've been taking a look at direct-to-home pay TV. DAARSAT returns bigger and better. The relaunch is today. I can assure you that you have nothing to lose by maintaining and retaining your DAARSAT decoder and probably buying another one. Not probably. Be sure to buy a decoder if you don't have one already. It's over now to Lagos, and we'll be joining Nkoli Omodu as she tackles her guest in the second interview segment. Do stay with us.